Hello, welcome to So We're Watching That Right, a podcast where two lesbians bully each other for having the same taste in anime. I'm Becky, scientifically certified best girl.
And I'm Val, everyone's favourite harem protagonist.
While we shelter from the heat and the rolling bombardment of the summer season starting up, here's a throwback episode. Before we get to the main topic, a couple of quick check-ins about other things we've been watching. We are still working our way through Reborn as a Vending Machine, I Now Wander the Dungeon, Season 1, which just keeps growing and growing and growing on me.
Mm-hmm. It is so singular in its stupid, insane premise.
Yeah.
That you can tell someone was really just like having an autistic blast writing this thing.
Yeah. So a lot of isekai shows have a procedural component of like, this character figures out how their knowledge applies to this new world. And I like that. But a lot of the shows we've watched that are like that basically eventually get to the point where the protagonist invents triple fireball or something and then doesn't really need his prior knowledge at all.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is so committed to every problem must be solved by some vending machine shit. And like, Boxo has now killed 2 entire Stratum bosses as a vending machine who cannot move or speak except in stock phrases.
Yeah, and like each of these Stratum Lords is supposed to be a big enough deal that having a drop from killing them gets you a wish.
Yes.
When you clear the dungeon.
Yeah, it's like, you know, gets you a level 9 D&D wish spell as a reward. And also, clearly from the scale, is like the equivalent of like a world boss in an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
And even like the Guild Wars 2 world bosses in particular, that are like, let's get 200 players together to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then under all it's not really right to call it goofs because it's so systematic, right? The actual mechanics of the storytelling. But under all that is this, you know, particularly powerful version of the protagonist who thinks they're worthless story, where Boxo like has somewhere in the skill tree found the speech ability, but has not unlocked it because he feels like if he has to talk, he will have to tell his friends that he was a useless human in his past life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the moment where he's like, if I go back to being human, I won't be useful to them anymore. And it's like, your girlfriend cuddles you whenever she has the chance and sleeps on you whenever she falls asleep because this girl is unstoppable.
Yeah, and also your other girlfriend has said, if you weren't a vending machine, I'd be all over you. Kyunami also exists and cuddles with Lemus and Boxo.
Yes. The vending machine polycule. We say some shit on this show, babe.
Anime is so good, it makes you say things.
Like punch a wizard with your anti-magic arm, which is the summary of the Misaka arc in Certain Magical Index.
Specifically, the Sisters arc is what it's called, but yeah.
Which, like, we went through the Sisters arc, there's a whole bunch of this girl, Misaka, they're clones, it's all very tragic. It is all resolved because Toma, like, can manifest the one weapon that Accelerator can't handle, which is a punch to the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fighting...
Yeah, it's very much like, you talk a lot of shit for someone who's in punching range.
Yeah.
And also, he's very used to not getting punched in the face for saying shit.
Yes, and he's like, this is a man who can cause bullets to hit the person who shot them rather than him.
Yeah.
Can't handle this arm. Gonna catch this hand specifically.
This hand specifically. It's funny because when he shows back up later, he has a bunch of other stuff going on, and it's really funny how Toma's solution to just punch him in the fucking face kind of works for other people too, but we'll get to that.
Excellent. I will be very happy to see Accelerator get punched in the face repeatedly.
Yeah, he deserves it. He has a spin-off, like a separate show.
Independently of Railgun.
Yes. He doesn't show up in Railgun, except for like when they basically rehash the Sisters arc from a different perspective.
Right, okay.
There is a show called A Scientific Accelerator.
Christ.
That's a different pile of mess.
Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of piles of mess, we're still working our way through to Loveru. I have very brief notes here. An assassin shows up to kill Rito because she's been convinced by one of Lala's adoring fans or whatever that he's a threat to the entire empire.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of fighting her, they adopt her because she's adorable.
Yeah, this is Yami-chan.
Golden Darkness.
Yep, who the sequel series to Love Root Darkness is named after.
Right. Good. That doesn't bode ill at all, given other things you've told me about this show.
Oh, it bodes so well. I can't wait.
Also, there's Sports Day, and Tenjoin, the hair drills girl, the Ojo at school, wants to destroy Lala and comes up with a plan during the cavalry battle where she has installed in secret the infrastructure to turn the cavalry battlefield into a swimming pool.
So they can do a water cavalry battle
So
instead.
they do a water cavalry battle so that they're all in their swimsuits, and then she unleashes like scissor drones to rip everybody's clothes to shreds. Mm-hmm. And Lala is the only person who has self-repairing clothes. It's...
Mm-hmm. It is quintessential rich girl bullshit.
You can just put things in anime, it turns out.
As I am always saying, you can write whatever you want.
Yeah!
Affectionate sometimes.
I mean, that's a perfect segue to talk about Seiren and Amagami.
Oh, and boy, are we.
Yeah, so today's focus show is Amagami SS and Seiren, and we will touch on Amagami SS Plus, but it turns out I can barely remember that show.
The problem is the format of Amagami is it's 4 episodes for each heroine from the original PS2 visual novel. And then SS Plus is like an epilogue with 2 episodes each for each character. And most of those are kind of throwaway. The girl who got the most falls flat arc in the original show does actually end up with the main character at the end of her epilogue arc.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's most of why they made SS Plus.
Maybe. There are also a bunch of OVAs, which I don't think we watched at all.
I don't think so, no. We might have watched the first season OVAs, but we didn't watch the second.
Yeah.
But it's been a few years either way. And
So one of the reasons for talking about this is I think this might be the first rom-com that we watched together after we started dating. It's not the first show we watched, because we watched the Evangelion rebuilds and then Cross-Ange. And then we started on Amagami.
Yup.
Because, sure, that makes sense.
Well, we started on Amagami because your girlfriend, and also my girlfriend at the time, Tara, used an Amagami gif at me and then correctly predicted that it was of my favorite character from the series.
Yes, Kaoru, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she uses that Kaoru gif a lot for somebody who was... I mean... This is definitely not a Tara show.
But it is an anime girl biting people, so...
That's very true, yes. And, like, a thing that's weird to me is that when we watched it, because Amagami started life as a VN, as a dating game, and I had the impression that it was, like, an old classic from the 90s, but it's not.
No.
Like, the VN came out after peak of my mid-2000s interest in anime.
Like... To put it in perspective, Amagami SS, the first season, aired in 2010, and that was only a year after the game came out. Like a year and a half. Like, it came out in 2009.
Yeah, and that misconception kind of shaped my perception of it at first, I think. But also, like, I did not watch a lot of rom-coms before this. And indeed, I would have regarded rom-coms particularly, and to a certain extent, romance in general, as... a genre I was not super comfortable watching, with the random exception of Lovely Complex, because that show, like, I watched an episode of it in 2008, I guess it would have been, and watched the whole thing because I was captivated by it.
I got like 80% of the way through that, but then my torrent of it was busted, so I still haven't seen the last 5 episodes, but it's on the plans for us to watch if we can find fucking time.
Yeah. So I watched the last episode of Lovely Complex that's all about them like graduating high school and worrying about how they're going to stay together in college and stuff, right around the time I was graduating from university.
God.
So it hit real hard. But apart from that, I kind of, you know, I had a prejudice against rom-coms, really. It wasn't even like I didn't like them. I hadn't watched enough to appreciate them. And then we ended up watching this, and I was... Well, it wasn't what I was expecting. But also, in some ways, it set a really high bar for the things I like in rom-coms.
Which is extremely, really funny to me, because, like, this was a show that, because I knew you were just kind of, like, not very high on rom-coms, I was just like... This was part of something where I like was worried that being into the things that I'm into would dissuade you from liking me anymore.
Yeah.
Because that is a pretty potent bit of anxiety.
And it was a concern because our anime interests did not have a lot of overlap, right? Like, I would have identified myself as like a sci-fi anime fan mostly, I think.
And I was neck deep in rom-coms and isekai, and you were just like, I don't. And somehow we still get along together.
Well, I mean, particularly when it was the two of us and Tara, we really did struggle at first to identify shows that we would be interested in watching together. And eventually we realised that actually the fun thing to do was for one of us or two of us to pick a show that the other one or two hadn't seen and was a bit out of the way for. Particularly when it was me that was the one that hadn't seen, because, like, I give good squeak, I guess.
I love your squeaks.
I know you do.
It was also the kind of thing where, like, trying to manage a triad dynamic is going to be more difficult than managing one-on-one.
Yes.
And we didn't really spend a lot of time solo, like, basically before I broke things off with Tara.
Yeah.
Which made that entire process a little harder than it needed to be for us specifically.
Yeah.
With this specific relationship and finding a sweet spot. But this was...
Yeah.
This was something that neither of you had seen, and I was just like, fine, I will show you this show from fucking 2010 that I liked a lot, but I haven't thought about since. And it went all right, shockingly.
It really did. Like, because, this is, with a couple of notable exceptions that we'll get to, this is an entirely non-fantasy, non-science fictional show. And yet it is so wildly goofy in terms of, it's the difference between a show that is a comedy and a show that is about funny people. This is not a goofy show, it's a show about goofy people. And not quite every arc, but most of the arcs have some real ridiculous horseshit moment that is just kind of graven on my soul to one degree or another. The basic scenario is there's this boy who got stood up on a New Year's Eve date a couple of years ago and became something of a shut-in. Not like full neat hickey, but like...
He's definitely like erring on the side of introvert out of anxiety about trying to get close to people who aren't his friends already.
Yeah. And like a detail I'd forgotten is that literally when the show starts, when it starts the first story arc proper, he is in his cupboard in his room. Like he spends most of his kind of home time hiding in his own cupboard.
Yeah, because he's like decorated it with glow-in-the-dark stars and stuff.
Yes.
Make a little planetarium that he just huddles in when he's feeling down.
Yeah. To put this in perspective, the only other character I've seen in an anime who is that introverted is Bocce from Bocce the Rock. I'm sure there are others as well, but that's the other one I've seen.
Yeah. It's not like he's like bad at interacting with people either. He just like definitely an introvert because he really needs to recharge when he does.
Yeah.
But he it's not like he's bad at socializing or anything.
It's also like so many anime characters register as anxious. He is depressed. And there is a difference there.
And he's totally valid for that.
Yeah, I mean, like, he had a bad experience at a very, very sensitive time. And then in Amagami SS, we get 6 arcs of 4 episodes each with one girl from the original game. It basically runs through, in sequence, the 6 routes that are available in the original game. And Amagami the game is not an explicit eroge. It doesn't have sex scenes.
Yeah, it couldn't because it was on the PS2.
Neither does the anime, but this is very much a show that knows sex is real and that has characters interacting in the very clear awareness that sex is real and often, reacting prudishly to the thing that's in the real world. And, recently we've been complaining about shows like The Angel Next Door feeling like they don't know what sex is. And that's one of the ways in which this show kind of ruined me. Because it's like, if you can do this without ever having sex on screen, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, like the first arc ends with him at a hotel with his girlfriend on Christmas Eve, and she comes out of the bath, which is like subtextual. If a girl is taking a bath in your hotel room, she's getting ready to fuck you. So yeah, that's the first arc of like 6. So it's just like, that's how we're starting out.
That's maybe not even the most erotic thing that happens in that arc. So Haruka, the
senpai,
the girl for the first arc, is like the school kind of, not quite princess, but like the girl that everybody admires. All the girls are like, she's the prettiest girl.
She's the superdari.
Yeah. But crucially, she's a weirdo.
Yeah.
She is such a creature. And like her bestie is constantly like herding her to be more normal.
And failing.
And although the concept of someone being out of someone else's league is bullshit, but she is being upheld as the girl who is out of everybody's league, and Junichi is, when he starts taking an interest in her, he thinks she's so out of my league, but she gets interested in him.
Well, only after he like confesses to her and she shoots him down, and then he confesses to her again and she's like, this is funny, you can keep doing it.
Yeah. Yes, like her interest in him is not immediately romantic. It's very playful. And it's a little bit like dominant play, but it's not very dominant. Like she runs rings around him, but it's not bratting because it's very much her in the upper position, as it were. And we've seen a bunch of teen boy protagonists in recent shows who were kind of afraid of their own lustfulness. Junichi is not. He is less afraid of his own lustfulness than he should be.
That is so true.
And like, you know, in a way that this show makes normal, because his friends are as well. Like, he's got a buddy who's constantly bringing him underwear catalogs and stuff. The sexual charge that attends on being a teen boy is very present.
I'm actually going to move to Seiren really quick because it's really funny that show is way hornier when none of the boys are horny like normal teen boys except for the main character. Like, Ikuo is so fucking, like, chill and focused on other things.
Yes.
And Araki's got his own issues. And it's just like, no, Shoichi's just kind of being a normal, horny kid who is developing weird interests.
Developing weird interest is a theme here.
Yeah.
Because Junichi, in this first arc, the moment that... I'm going to have to explain this as the moment that this show won me over. Junichi gets obsessed. Like, at one point, Haruka gives him, like, a forehead kiss, and he becomes obsessed with that, and he starts begging her to kiss him on the forehead. And she basically goes, no, it's your turn to kiss me, but we have to do it somewhere out of the way. And
also, specifically, you have to do it somewhere that is surprising to me.
Yes. And he drags her off school grounds into the woods, where there is a
water pump shed,
that's right. And they go in there, and it is like the most hookup shed fucking location. And they're in there, and he starts to like approach her to kiss her, and she's like, but you can't kiss me on the lips anywhere else, but also you should try to surprise me. And he thinks about a dog sniffing at somebody's heels and asks to kiss her on the back of her knee. And it really does turn into like a moment of pet play.
Yep.
And he really goes for that knee. It's not like a little peck. It's like 20 plus seconds of kissing with sound effects. And Haruka getting progressively more and more turned on by it.
That's how the show starts.
Yeah, I rewatched that on the train today. Being careful about the angle of my screen. It wasn't visible to anyone else. Then after that, Junichi really wants to kiss her on the back of the knee again and play puppy again. And that makes her a bit uncomfortable. And she goes to her buddy and is like, I don't know what to do about this. And buddy is like, well, you enjoyed it, right? Why not just let him spoil you? And this results in them doing a role play in the cafeteria at lunchtime in front of everyone of him having kidnapped her, and she's got her hands bound.
Right.
And he has to feed her because he's not going to free her hands because he's kidnapped her.
Yeah? What would you like to comment on about this situation, my dear?
The arc ends with a flash forward scene to 10 years later, and they're happily married, and he's a cop, and they have a kid. It's the whole wonderful spectrum of love and life. And then in SS Plus, there's an arc about, because Haruka is a senpai, she's the year above him, and it's coming up to her graduation, And she's got family in England, and she's going to go and stay in England for a bit. And she really wants Junichi to propose to her before she graduates or when she graduates. And there's this 2-episode caper about trying to get Junichi to propose without anybody saying, hey, you should propose.
The thing that kills me is her quote-unquote normal friend does like a roleplay with them acting as their kid.
Yeah.
And asks him, like, how did you propose to mom? It's like, okay, throw your normal card away. This is insane.
And then Junichi wrangles being the one to give the speech at graduation and proposes in his graduation speech.
Yup.
Which is a wild thing to do to the school super darling. Like,
Yup.
He should have been stoned out of there by every other boy.
Yeah, this probably contributed to that one dream I had the night before we got together where I fucking had to deal with you shooting me down in front of a crowd of way bigger stream audience than I expected.
Oh, God. It probably did.
That was a terrible dream. To be fair, that was also a visual novel that I had been reading where that actually happened. Like, well, not the streamer bit. He asks a girl out who's in a band and she shoots him down on stage.
Literal nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Let us salve our hearts by talking about the best girl, Kaoru, who is Junichi's... Are they actually childhood friends, or have they just been, like, buddies since starting school together?
She is a childhood friend, along with Ryoko.
Because in terms of type, Kaoru is the... Like, she's the one of the boys friend, but she's not a tomboy, which is nice. And, like, she will talk with the boys about how pretty other girls are.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she'll horseplay with them and, like, punch them and stuff. And... Like, after Kaoru accidentally kisses Junichi, they are comfortable enough around her that he, quote-unquote, punishes her by tickling her.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, with this arc, we get a flash forward to them as married adults. Sorry, no, we don't. I was reading the wrong line in the notes. Sorry. There's a couple of arcs that have flash forwards, but not all of them. And, like, that's the thing that this show ruined me for other rom-coms with, because I want that in every rom-com. It's so good. It doesn't happen often enough. Like, her actual arc is her mother is divorced and her mother starts dating another man and she feels kind of betrayed by this and has a fight with her mom. And, like, Junichi helps her kind of overcome that without necessarily selling herself out about how she feels about it.
Mm-hmm. And then they go on a date to the port tower, which is new, and he's bad with heights. So it's a time.
Yeah.
But he still asks her out and they kiss and it's cute.
Yes. And then in SS Plus, they are trying to save up money to go on a trip together, and they are doing the kids' fairground kind of local tokusatsu hero show. Kaoru is the MC, and Junichi is in various of the monster suits. Mm-hmm. And eventually they get in trouble for flirting too much during the show, or kind of being too PDA-ish during the show. Mm-hmm. Despite that, they earn enough money to go on their trip, and then completely mess up everything about the trip, and end up stranded in the mountains with no money.
Yep.
And waiting for hours at a bus stop to which no buses come. For some reason, I have the most notes on the third arc. Sae's arc. Despite the fact that the first of my notes is that I keep mistaking her for Rise from Persona 4. They are clearly of a type visually.
Yeah, visually, but...
Not in character at all.
Yeah.
And both the school from this show and the school in Persona 4 have the black uniforms, so...
Mm-hmm. Black and white.
Yeah, the fuzzy memory of the figure is very, very similar. Mm-hmm. The core of this arc is that Sae is very shy and is scared of boys and dogs, and for some reason, like, she's a bit more comfortable with Junichi, and he helps her, like, overcome her shyness.
I mean, she's more comfortable with him because he's her friend's brother.
Yes.
Mia's friends would say.
I couldn't remember there was something also more specific than that. Like, that's how they kind of start hanging out. Mm-hmm. And, like, he helps her get a job and, like, deal with interacting with customers and stuff. And then he helps her compete in the, like, Santa competition at the school winter festival in the couples category, which they lose to Haruka from the first arc and her best friend, Hibiki.
Yup.
Who are soulmates. I love them so much.
Yup.
There's also a thing which I don't really remember, except that I think I can picture it very queerly. I mean, it is queer, but also they go to a foot baths at a hot spring, and for some reason, Rise has a near orgasmic response to this.
Mm-hmm. She just, like, some girls just have some stimulation and they have a good time. And he basically faints at at being witness to this.
That's just what this show is like.
Yep.
And then at the end of the arc, they're going on a date to see a movie together, and somehow the director of the film is in the cinema, and Junichi has a conversation with him about romance.
I need to comment on this. The description for this character on my anime list is very funny. American director appears in episode 12. The director of the movie, Sai and Junichi, go to see as a prize for their participation in the best couple contest. Okay, his words of motivation pushed Junichi to declare his love to Sai. It is unclear if Junichi understood the director as he was speaking English. His appearance bears a resemblance to Steven Spielberg.
Right, yes, it's Spielberg. And because all of that wasn't absurd enough, in SS Plus, Sae's arc starts with Junichi hearing that she's going to, like, a wedding to meet an arranged suitor.
An arranged marriage.
And he panics and he rushes there and discovers that she has a dog now and it's a wedding meeting for the dog.
Yeah.
Which, given that he is also a dog, I understand him feeling a bit jealous about, but... And then somehow it's decided that she's going to run the school festival that year, and in order to help her with this, somehow, Junichi decides he's going to make, like, a home video documentary of her doing it.
Mm-hmm. This is a questionable follow-up to the epilogue for the main arc, where it's him hanging out with Sai and Mia at their house, and they're in, like, animal kikus, and he's filming them because he, quote-unquote, wants to be a director, like the fucking weirdo who talked to him in the bathroom.
Right. I'd forgotten that connection.
I'm so glad I could help.
Help is a choice of word that you could make here, yes.
I'm helping make content.
Make discontent.
No, you're not discontent. Come on now.
I can hold multiple emotions at once. Anyway, then we have Ai's arc, and this one I watched the whole of today on the train at 1.35 times speed, which is very funny when he's chasing her around the swimming pool and then she jumps in and he jumps in after her in his full uniform at the climax of the arc or whatever. Features of this arc, it is very important to care about Kamen Rider and to do Kamen Rider poses.
And to give her little brother a Kamen Rider belt toy.
The detail I'd forgotten is that she tries to give her little brother a Kamen Rider belt toy and he rejects it because it's last year's belt.
Yeah.
Fucking brat.
Yeah.
They go to a fairground on a sort of date, dating before they actually dating kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the haunted house. And this is where the show gets supernatural because Junichi somehow ends up hallucinating that I turned into a bowl of ramen and then going to eat the ramen. And when he puts the first noodles in his mouth, it turns out to be Ai's finger that he's sucking on.
Yeah.
And then also, this is the arc where at the festival, a thing we haven't mentioned yet, all the arcs run through this winter festival the school throws. And one of the societies has built a Gundam. And it's just standing in the school grounds. And this is the arc where the Gundam moves and, like, actually takes a step as a mech would. It's just like, I don't know what was happening in the writer's room. But, like,
bits. Clearly.
Yeah. Anyway, Ai is on the swim team and she loses her place on the team and is very distraught about this, and Junichi helps her through that. And then they run the swim club's Odin stall at the festival, and that's very, very successful. And after that, she's like, hey, come with me. We're going somewhere secret. And they get on, like, the last bus out into the back end of the countryside and get off at a random bus stop in the middle of nowhere. And she marches him up a path into the forest up the hillside, and there's a hot spring there. And then it is strongly implied that they fuck in a hot spring.
Yep.
How many of these arcs do you think we're supposed to think end with them having sex?
Probably, well, one of them doesn't even confess, which we'll get to shortly.
Haruka definitely feels like they fuck at the end.
I think it's only these two, honestly. The other ones feel like they don't quite get to the point of comfort in the relationship where, like, that can happen.
Yeah.
But they're definitely moving towards it.
This one ends with these two naked and snuggling in a hot spring. No, naked and canoodling in a hot spring.
Yep.
Snuggling is too cozy. They are canoodling.
Yeah, and confessing to each other.
Yes. Then we have Rihoko's arc. And this one, I think we're in agreement. This arc is a shame because Rihoko is lovely and wonderful, but her arc just did not leave a strong impression.
Yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate because childhood friend characters always kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to stuff that isn't specifically built around the premise of a childhood friend doing something. And combine that with most of her character tension being, oh, can I get on a diet because I feel like I'm gaining weight?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like not all that memorable.
Yeah.
Which is funny because this is also the arc with the most of the eternal creatures that there are 3 pairs of. Her senpais in the tea club.
Yeah, so the Amagami and Seiren and at least one other thing in the same universe have this near identical pair of characters.
Yeah.
And in Amagami, they're the Tea Club members. And then after that, they're the Home Ec Club members. And it is...
In Seiren, yeah.
They have different names. They are very obviously the same kind of visual type each time, with the same ways of speaking and the same kind of attitudes.
Okay, I'm actually looking at it. So it's really, really goofy. They have in Amagami and Kimikiss, which is the other game set in the Amagami universe, the characters have the same surname. So you could excuse them as just being 2 pairs of twins who get along weirdly well with each other's. But they're completely unrelated in Seiren.
Yeah. Some author just has a very strong type.
I mean, it's the same author, so...
Or, as my hypothesis about rom-coms holds, you can't have a rom-com without a little bit of supernatural horror, and they represent the supernatural horror element in this show. It is wild that prior to this, the only other show I'd seen that was an adaptation of a visual novel that looped to go through all the arcs was Higurashi.
Which is a special case and a horror series.
Yeah.
Higurashi is literally built on time loops. Each chapter of the visual novel is its own time loop.
Oh, they're very different shows, but I think the way it feels to play each route separately. Because in Amagami, in each route, you still see the other girls knocking around and having some of the problems that they have in their routes.
I was just going to say, it doesn't matter here specifically because they're gated off. So it's not like there is a more complicated, quote-unquote, true ending route that the anime could be adapting. Like, these are just...
Yes, there is. It's the Risa arc.
No.
It's not the Risa arc.
It's clearly the Mia arc because Risa is also there.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those things where you play through all 6 of the main routes, and then you get the Risa arc, which is like the secret bad end, and if you manage to make it through that, then you get the Mia arc, which is... This is stupid.
This is very stupid. I'm pretty sure Mia would be a quote-unquote common end, where you don't end up with any of the girls, and you're just like, I'm just gonna value my family, that's fine.
Value my family.
Why did you emphasize it like that?
Mia has some problematic attitudes towards her brother, okay?
And likewise for him to her. It's fine. TM. It's fine. That's our Miyu art coverage. It's fine, TM.
Yeah, it is fine. Like, it doesn't go too far. Anyway, the final, like, main arc of Amagami is Tsukasa, who is the class representative of Junichi's class and is like very hardworking and has friction with other girls in the class who think she's kind of forcing other people to fit into her vision of like what a good student is, and they resent her for that and stuff.
I mean, the major thing with her is, and she is the girl on the cover of all the versions of the game, I believe. She is, you know, presented as a nice, generally kind person, but it turns out that is just a facade, and she is a kind of a bitch. And Junichi uncovers this alongside when he picks up her notebook that she keeps like a fucking grudge list in.
Right, yes.
And then she grabs him by the tie and is just like, hey, you're gonna come with me.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that gif. Because it's definitely in... Nope.
I feel like I can picture it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I had it saved, but she is the cover of the series, and it's like, okay, there are some depths to these girls.
Yes. And, like, I remember liking her a lot. I also, kind of like with Rihoko, I don't remember a moment that is like the haunted house in Ai's arc or the kissing the back of the leg in Haruka's arc. I do remember the SS Plus arc for Tsukasa, which is she runs to be student council president and Junichi runs as her deputy. Then this rival character for Tsukasa pops up out of nowhere and runs against her and declares that Junichi will also be her
Vice president, yeah.
vice president without his say-so.
Yep.
Tries to poach him and stuff.
It also tries to seduce him.
Which doesn't go well, because he's a good boy.
Yeah, and she is a mean girl.
She is a mean girl, yes.
Who is very aware that she's trying to get one up over on her.
Yes. The nice thing about the Tsukasa arc is Noriko is trying to be Machiavellian, and both Tsukasa and Junichi see through it at the relevant times.
It's also nice because, like, the main Tsukasa arc was, like, Tsukasa having her normal personality outed, and Junichi just being like, no, I think that's fine. I still like you.
Yeah.
And I will like you no matter what you do, even after she tries to suppress her bitter side.
Yes. Towards the end, she, like, tries to override her secret nasty side and become the public face. And he's like, but I like you fine before. And then she, like, batters him for wasting her effort to be a nicer person.
Yep. And so it's nice that, like, having gone through that in the main arc, she trusts him enough to know that he's not going to fall for someone else.
Yeah.
Just because they tried to kiss him.
Yeah.
In the SS Plus arc.
And then there is Risa, which is a one-episode thing at the end of the show where there's this girl who, in this version of the story, sabotages Junichi's chances with all the other girls because she wants him for herself. And, like, it's sort of revealed that she's acting in his best interests because she also arranged for him to get stood up in the, like, inciting incident 2 years ago because the girl who he was going to meet was actually going to humiliate him. But also, it's a yandere fantasy. And boys are allowed to have yandere fantasies as well. It's fine.
It's not like they need permission. It's women who need the permission currently anyway, but yeah.
Anyway, that brings us to Seiren, an anime original follow-up to Amagami set in the same universe some years later.
At least 10, I think. I believe Ikuo is 6 in Amagami and 16 in Seiren.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense. So Ikuo is...
Nanosaki Ai's.
He's Ai's younger brother, right, yes. The one who rejects the Kamen Rider belt.
For being old, yeah.
And one of his classmates is Shoichi Kamita, who is the protagonist of Seiren. And he's just kind of directionless, really, is his problem. He's getting on okay, but he doesn't have a lot of ambition. The show starts with him being asked to complete Japanese students have to complete these, like, what are your career plans forms? And he puts down horned beetle on his. And something horny joke, let's move on. The first arc.
I do also want to say, like, I had watched Amagami well after it aired, I think, but it was really early on still in, like, my anime viewing, like, career ? I don't know what else to call it. This aired 5 years after Amagami SS Plus in 2017, and by then I had watched seasons 1 and 2 of Snafu. So some things had changed about my brain, which is why Shoichi is so shaped.
He is a shape. It's true. So the first character that he gets involved with is Tsuneki, who is a popular girl. She's not a gyaru, but she's kind of shading in that direction. She's desperately trying to get on a overnight mixer tour that would be basically like partying with a bunch of boys for a while, and her parents catch her in that. Kamita goes to a 2-week residential cram school because he's like, I need to get my act together about studying.
Well, he sees Tsuneki and is just like, wow, she's so grown up and has goals and stuff.
Yeah.
Even if they're short term, I should work on something.
Yeah.
And studying is about the only thing that comes to mind because Ikuo is a book nerd.
Yes. And anyway, he's at this Cram school, and there's a knock at his window one night, and he opens it, and a horrifying soggy girl from the forest who looks like what's her name from The Ring crawls through his window, and it turns out to be Tsuneki, who's been like banished to this camp by her parents after they caught her trying to sneak out to the mixer, and there ensue a truly immaculate set of shenanigans. Like, really has like residential camp energy to all the shit that they get up to.
And it's also where the show shows off that, like, because it's not based on a PS2 VN anymore, it can get raunchier than it was going to previously.
So at one point, Tsuneki is talking about how if she'd gone on the mixer, she would have been wearing a bikini at the beach, and she starts teasing Kamita about how he would definitely like to see her in a bikini, and then she drags him to the baths so she can wear her bikini and show it.
The men's baths.
And so they're in the men's baths together, and the male teacher comes in, who is like a hard ass. He has the exact energy of the manager from Zombieland Saga, we realised.
Yep.
Such that that character is probably downstream of this guy. But he comes in, and so Tsuneki holds her breath and hides under the water, having told Kamita to get rid of him, and he's so horny from having seen her in the bikini that he is fully erect, and the teacher sees this and thinks, oh god, this student is here to proposition me, and runs off.
The funniest thing about that to me is it's not that he was just hard because she was in a bikini. He was specifically noticing that because she was, you know, drenched, she was borrowing his, like, tracksuit from him.
Oh, yeah.
And was wearing sweats around, which also has the other line, which is just like, oh, this show's going to be so much, which is... she's drying his clothes that she's borrowing from him and talking to a girl that she's met there. And the other girls are just like, the other girls are calling you a slut for walking around in your boyfriend's sweats. And her reaction to this is to go, man, we really got found out quick, huh? Yeah, he really likes coming all over those. It's just like,
she goes for it.
Whoa, okay, episode 2.
Yeah, it's wild.
So she's been wearing his sweats, and he notices the imprint that the elastic band on the sweats has left on her navel while she's wearing the bikini.
Yeah.
And he specifically gets turned on by that, and I'm like, my guy. That's why I also hit this episode, I was like, oh, this is written by someone who is really earnestly horny for some very specific things. I kind of have to respect that.
It works out fine, because they both find their direction in life, and it's food. Like, she ends up going to culinary college in Spain to learn to make really good paella.
Yeah, it's also interesting because as a follow-up to Amagami, the first arc is like, I like you a lot, but I'm going to be so long distance, we can't start this relationship until they reunite at the very end.
Yes.
Which is interesting. Good. Not everything needs to end perfectly happily, but it's cute.
Yes.
When the re-meet cute happens.
Yeah. And then there's Toru's arc. So Toru is... she's not quite, like, school darling to the extent that Haruka is in Amagami, but she's certainly regarded as a kind of out-of-reach girl. But she turns out to also be a toxic gamer. And Kamita and his bros have this spot under the stairs where they meet up to game at all hours, at, like, all the breaks during school, and she joins them.
Yeah, they're all playing on, like, a Game Gear equivalent.
A PSP equivalent.
It's like a Sega something is the thing.
It's the hypothetical Sega handheld that would compete with the DS and the PSP.
Or the Vita. It's just like that specific crossover because, God, they love Sega. Yeah. There is a fucking, the weird eternal creatures who live in the home ec club and or T club, depending on your timeline. Welcome a character by going, welcome to the fantasy zone, because the fucking space harrier.
Yeah.
In English.
They play this game about, like, raising a deer and going on quests where the deer fights or something, and eventually Toru ends up mating her deer to Kamita's. And somehow there's a whole second thing going on in this arc, which is that one of Toru's friends makes cosplay costumes and really wants Toru to model for her, and eventually gets her to model for her at Comiket by sharing store space so she can sell the plushies that she's making, because when Kamita went round to her place, he saw these plushies and was like, oh, I made those. Wow, you should lead into this. And so she's in the bunny girl costume, right?
Yes, because the second game that the gamer group got into was like a Monster Hunter knockoff, but with furry creatures, and it's a shooter instead.
It's Rabbit and Steel meets Monster Hunter.
Well, there are more animals.
Yeah.
But...
Anyway, so like she's in this bunny girl costume, and they're bobbing around Comiket trying to vend things, and she goes to go to the loo and gets brigaded by photographers and has to be rescued by Kamita's older sister, who is there cosplaying Bikini Gundam because she really likes getting her clothes off.
Yep.
And then Toru realizes that she can't figure out where the zipper on her costume is. And it turns out to be right at her crotch.
Yup. And the shot where she spreads so that he can look is just like, yup, someone's kinks are being catered to. Good for them, I guess.
Yeah. And she gets revenge on him by hickeying him really hard, which, valid.
Can't relate.
Sorry, Chew Toy. Nom nom nom.
Shut the fuck up. Speaking of toys.
The third arc of Seiren, Kyoko's arc, which starts with a kid in magical girl costume playing in the park with a friend, and one sort of eventually realizes that this is Kamita as a boy in his sister's magical girl costume that he's stolen, also wearing his sister's panties they take time to establish.
Yep. Underwear is important for this
Underwear
arc.
is alarmingly important for this arc.
I love and I hate that I have to say that. Also, worth saying, this scene that they're flashing back to of him playing a magical girl takes place in the same park that Junichi got stood up at.
Yes.
In Amagami.
I am sure that Junichi is sitting in the park depressed in the background of one of the shots. You're less sure than I am, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's meant to be Junichi. Anyway, Kyoko, the girl from this arc, who is the girl who is playing with cross-playing Kamita in this flashback, is still quite childish when they're in, like, kind of present day. And she's still reading the Magical Girl manga that character's from, which over the decade has metamorphosed into Eroguro.
Yep. Enough to scare a girl who pops open a book and reads it into crying at the sight of it.
Yeah, like Kyoko at one point decides she needs to grow up and tries to give her collection of manga away. And the place she's trying to give it away to refuses to take it because it's too smutty. So she's sat in the park with this bag full of manga, and this like young girl comes up and Kyoko lets her read some of the manga and she like runs off terrified.
Yep. And then we meet the Home Ec Club girls.
Who are the same characters, but not the same characters as the T Club in Amagami. And they just decide that they are going to engineer this relationship into existence.
Yep.
The other thing is, like, Kyoko keeps teasing Kamita for being a girl next door type. Not in the sense of being a boy who is into girl next door types, but being a boy who is a girl next door. And he gets a bit worried about...
I think it's just a mix of, like, the whole childhood friend emotion gap and just him not being particularly manly. And, you know, cross-dressing as a child. Don't comment, don't think about that or anything.
Estrogen could help. I don't think he needs to be saved, but estrogen could help. This eventually gives him a bit of a crisis in his masculinity, which is resolved when he realizes that the thermal underwear that she knitted for him as a Christmas gift, which, yes, that's a thing that happens, has a fly, so she must be thinking of him as a boy, which is a leap of logic so absurd that it could only be perfect for a 16-year-old boy. What a way to wrap up the show and to wrap up our discussion of these shows. This was the start of my romcom arc that happened at the start of your romcom arc.
Oh, shut up. My romcom arc started at least 6 months earlier.
Anyway, so we're watching That Writer's Project of Slimebug Productions. Intro and outro music is by me, graphics are by Val, and this episode is edited by Numinous. You can find us on Blue Sky at slimebug.bsky.social, YouTube at youtube.com/slimebugproductions, Patreon at patreon.com/slimebugproductions, download all episodes from Listen at slimebug.pro, and join our Discord via the link in the description. Thanks for listening, and until next time, may anime neither betray nor disappoint you.